9,036 pieces is the new record for the largest Lego set officially produced. And it is not out yet. We got 2 more weeks until we can buy this bad boy. This is the Colosseum 10276. It is in the 18 plus theme, and it was announced today officially. I think there's been some leaked pictures going around, but I did my best to stay away from those until we had the official release from Lego. And here it is. It's the Colosseum, historically accurate representation of the current building in Italy. So somewhat dilapidated state, but I think that does allow for more interest in the set as we can kind of build these ruinous features where this whole wall up here is still intact, but then on the other side it's kind of open like it is today. If you go visit it, well, you can't visit it right now, but you know what I mean. The scale on this isn't to minifigure. So Lego has a couple well-known scales. There's minifigure. So here's Ron. That's minifigure scale. There's microfigure, which is a 1x1. They used those in the Lego games about 8 years ago, 10 years ago. And then there's nanofigure. Those are also 1x1, but the actual figure is smaller. This set would actually be scaled smaller than all of those. I think if you look down here in the front, these 1x2 jumper plates are supposed to represent vehicles. And so kind of going with that scale, I think the closest thing we have in Lego is the top half of this antenna piece. So I'll crop that in close and you guys can take a look. I'm just imagining like if you cut off this top couple millimeters, that would be the size of a relative human at the scale of this Colosseum. So yeah, it is a massive set. It's almost 10,000 pieces and it surpasses the Falcon. So the Falcon was the previous record holder. This has been out for 3 years, 2017, so it got to hold the record for a little while. But this had 7,540 parts, Colosseum 9,036, so almost 1,500 more parts. Interestingly enough, it is not the most expensive set. That record is still held by the Falcon at the retail price of $800 US. The Colosseum will be going on retail sale over the Black Friday weekend for $550 US. So that price point way down there. Yes, there is like a little markup on Star Wars sets because of the license, but I think a lot of this savings is coming from the specific usage of parts in the set. And in the first place, smaller pieces, so those are slightly cheaper to produce. And then B, there's vast quantities of a single piece. So I think you would see a lot more part variety in the Falcon compared to the Colosseum. Don't get me wrong, there's still a ton of different pieces, and there's good variety for the set. But looking at all these slopes and arches, you're going to end up with a couple hundred copies of certain pieces. And so from a production standpoint, that's, I think, a little cheaper to produce. So maybe that answers some questions about, why is there that imbalance between the piece count and the price. I'm sure there's more complicated factors as well. Being in the 18 plus line and being a 2020 set for that matter, I've seen a lot of sets produced. The set listing has kind of a blueprint image. So if we go to the next set in the series, 10277, let's just jump over there really quick. More images. Almost every 2020 set I've looked at has had this kind of blueprint schematic, even if it's like just a city set. It doesn't even have to be an 18 plus. So for the crocodile locomotive, this makes sense. This is actually pretty cool that this is one of the official images for the set. Some sets it doesn't really make any sense, but it's in there anyways. Back at the Colosseum, I haven't seen an official blueprint representation like I would have expected, if that's going to be an exclusive part of the instructions or if it's just not going to happen for this set. I don't really know. So kind of curious there, something to think about. Another fun little Easter egg that has been pointed out by the review on Brickset by Captain Rex is kind of, if you know your Lego history and you know what's been going on in releases and stuff like that, take a look down here at the front of the Colosseum. We've got one of our cars represented by a cool yellow 1x2 jumper plate and tile. If you want to read into it a lot, you could say that this is actually the Fiat 500 set that was released at the beginning of the year. And another callback in this set to the Colosseum can be found in the 6x6 sticker on the art easel where we have the Fiat 500 in front of an artistic representation of the Colosseum. So kind of cool. I think some people actually picked up on this when the Fiat was released, that the Colosseum was kind of in the works as a Lego production. And then I think probably in the past couple months, there were rumors leaked out to where we knew, okay, the next Lego 18 Plus is the Colosseum. And I think we also had some images leaked, but we now have the official presentation, published press release, all that good stuff for the official set for 10276. So this is kind of right in the middle of our 18 plus range right now. One before this, 10275, is the Elf Clubhouse for the Winter Village series, also branded as 18 plus. 10277, we just looked at the Crocodile Locomotive, so right on the other side of that. I think the next modular is going to be in this series. I mean, 10270 is the bookshop, so the next modular should be in this number range here, the 5-digit set numbers. So there's a little bit of order there, so that's good to see. But other than that, just take a look at these pictures. Personally, this is not going to be a high priority set for me. I doubt I will ever pick this up at full retail price. I probably won't even hunt down, I won't try to look for this in the future. It's a really cool set. It's a really cool display piece, but it's not my thing, what I'm looking for when I collect Lego. So attention to detail wise, this is done really well. And yeah, just read through this. There's some notes about like the scaling that's actually exaggerated upwards a little bit to help with that display. The base is kind of different from what we've done before. This is actually a Technic frame and brick built base on an ellipse shape instead of going with a rectangular shape. Like a lot of our architecture series sets are built on a rectangular plate base, similar to the Lunar Lander that I did buy. That was a set that I did want to get. So this kind of deviates from that a little bit, but it does keep that black color scheme on the bottom, and then the mostly tan Colosseum is built on a dark bluish gray base. So we do get a little bit of color variation in here with the dark tan and some touches of that light bluish gray on here around the ring. So maybe that was an element that they couldn't get recolored into tan, but I don't think it detracts too much from the model. Some confirmed recolors here are the roller skates in dark tan, so we have that element now. And there's probably a couple more kind of hidden throughout the model. A very large amount of these 1x2 masonry bricks. This was just featured on my HUTAP playlist, so this was number 15. Talked about the history of this piece. It's 8 years old now, and I think this set will probably have the largest number of these in tan. Although there are some contenders, some of the other sets that have these in tan have like 40 or so. So it's not an underrepresented piece by any means, but I am glad that we get it used here. And then there's several of those 1x4 masonry bricks as well, used kind of throughout the model. So great representation of the arch family that Lego has produced. So here is our really small arch. I guess if you want to go really small, you have the 1x2 Technic brick with a hole, and that can kind of represent an arch. So we've got that one right there. And then the 1x2x2 window that it has that arch panel in there. And several of these 1x3 arches are used. So this has kind of been around for a little while. We get a lot of those in tan. The next size up is the 1x4 arch. Plenty of those used as well. And I think that's kind of where it stops in terms of using those dedicated arch bricks. A lot of other window pieces used. So wall panels, window panels used for some of those upper regions in there. And this is pretty close to the accurate representation. Like the designer did look at source material. On the back of the box, we have some kind of reference pictures to look through here. And in Captain Rex's review, he does show some of the inside of the instructions, so you can look at that. But yeah, pretty good attention to detail throughout, and a good use of our current family of parts. I don't think they had to make any new elements for the set. We also have a lot of those little scrollwork bricks used around the top perimeter there for that detail, and some clips and stuff like that. Yeah, so just go through these and look. I'm going to keep this one wrapped up right here, but it's a cool set. I'm not going to get it. Just talk about it down in the comments. What do you guys think about the new largest Lego set? How long do you think it's going to hold the record? Do you think are we ever going to have a Lego set that breaks 10,000 pieces officially? Like 9,036? We're getting pretty close. Like, I don't know if there's any plans in the works to do a continuation of this large-scale architecture series, but if this does well, I could definitely see LEGO pursuing that, especially now that this 18-plus theme is kind of dedicated to the AFOL market. So this is something they're doing new. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Brick System Brothers.